We've done some upgrades to the internet, so we want to see how many channels we could push it out to all at once without having kind of going on with the screwing up the image quality and stuff like that. And also, a few weeks ago, I turned 60. Believe it or not, turned 60, and so I wanted to wait till I tried it out for a few weeks before I actually reported on turning 60. It's always thought it was kind of weird when you turn an age and somebody says, "Well, how does it feel to be 25? Wish I were that pace. But anyway, and it's like you're on the day of your birthday. So I tried it out for a few weeks, give it a test spin, and I got to say, after checking it out and really doing a lot of due diligence intellectually and spiritually, I could say I really don't care for it. Okay, but anyway, that's beside the point. It doesn't matter what you think about your age. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You're probably you're still going to live through it, hopefully. And we never know how long we have. I don't want to sound maudlin, depressing, or whatever. But anyway, we're all here, and obviously because you're listening to me. So anyway, I hope you're listening to me or somebody's listening. Anyway, the observations I'm seeing in the political scene and the cultural scene in this country, I just don't see. Quite frankly, how this country can last another 60 years, much less, 5 years is like I'm putting it. It's just falling apart rapidly, and I'm not. There's a pushback on some of what the progressives are trying to aim for, and that's good, but it's going to be very hard because this administration seems to have all the balls in all their courts. I mean, right now I just heard a report they're going to try to make all the illegals or the undocumented, migrants, all legal citizens, and before the next election, so they can be able to vote in that election. Also, I heard just a thing the other day, AOC and Chucky Schumer are trying to make a push to actually lower the voting limit, voting age to 16 instead of 18. So if those two things come, we're basically so screwed, it's beyond measure, okay? There is going to be no semblance of it resembling anything what the United States had been before. And all these leftists out there think, well, God, that's good because America is such a dreadful place. Okay, then why are there so many people here illegally? Okay, if there's such a dreadful place. I'd like to know that. But the political spectrum, left and right, I don't even see if that's even a valuable measure or anything anymore now, because I just think that they're useless. The left and right diagram or paradigm, whatever, is just ridiculous. They don't seem to be I guess when they initially talked about the right wing, they meant those who sat on the right hand of the king. And when the hell do we have a king in this country? So, and the left was always considered, more with the people. Well, I see that opposite now. The left is doing stuff that most of the people really don't want to be a part of. And no, I don't think the left is visionaries. I really don't think that. I think they're whim worshippers, as Ayn Rand would call them. They see something, they think they want it, they throw all caution in the wind. They're pioneers, or whatever that means now. Or I guess that take on a totally different meaning too. That we'll probably get into some other show. Anyway, it was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. There's been a transition of what that word pioneer now means. So anyway, the co-opting of language is getting ridiculous. I mean, the CIS stuff, CIS. Okay, why are a handful of people get to label people, and we're supposed to embrace those titles? Okay, I was told by somebody who's in the know that they did the research and they checked out and they found that CIS, actually, that term CIS. I don't even know what the hell it really stands for, although it means what used to mean average person or normal or heterosexual is now referred to as a cis. It sounds real close to cyst. Okay, and I had a cyst, and that wasn't real pleasant. But anyway, they're wanting us to just embrace that title and use it ourselves. But yet, the terms gay and straight, which from my knowledge actually those terms are actually put on people by the gays, and they didn't want to be called FAG anymore, fag. They didn't want to go to that, so they said gay, and everybody went to transition to gay. And now there's people advocating within the gay community to go back to the term queer. So I mean, language I can understand why people in the medical field and the legal field chose to use Latin, because it was a dead language. You didn't have people wanting to co-opt it and transfer it to, like the word sick, S-I-C-K, meaning somebody's ill. Detest everybody who says, ooh, that's sick, means it's cool. Every time I hear that, I want to beat them to like a pulp. I mean, it's a ridiculous term to use, in my opinion. I know people have a right to use the language as they choose to. I just think it's an asinine way of saying it. Something's cool or something's good or something's really, well, mind-boggling or whatever. But I mean, the word sick just makes no sense to me. And I mean, there's one guy I watched on YouTube. He's a great guy. He's got a great YouTube channel, but he always uses that term, sick. This is sick. I kind of lose interest at that point when they talk. I'm just trying to tune out the show when he uses that term. I guess I'm a curmudgeon, a fuddy-duddy, but language means something to me. And I think that allowing people to use the word cis, and why do you we're supposed to casually embrace that. Like, okay, like the word shitska, and stuff like that. Those are derogatory terms. It means they say it means a non-Jewish female. There's more negative connotations that look it up yourself in a more honest and actually more candid thing. It doesn't mean just non-Jewish, okay? It's much more derogatory than that. So, I mean, language means something, but it's like one group wants to be able to label, and you're supposed to accept the label, not react to it. Because if you react to it, you're reactionary. They're the ones that are reactionary. So I guess turning 60 means that I've actually gotten more curmudgeonly and got more set in my ways, and I've gotten more getting angry at people trying to tell me how I'm supposed to think, feel, and say. Here's a damn script, and it's going to change weekly, if not daily. Because this one group said, well, we don't do on the margin, of course. It's going to be the marginal groups that are going to be speaking out. The mainstream group is just supposed to take their lead from the marginalized group. Okay? But we're supposed to have a democracy here, which we really don't have, because this is supposed to be a democratic republic, which is a difference, because a democratic form of governance means you allowed to choose your leaders, but as a republic means you're a rule of law. But now it's been just the republic parts have been dropped off, and we have a democracy, which is degenerating right now into mob rule. Okay? So turning at 60 has actually got me in perspective and see what that term, and those terms, and the things that we should have been taking for granted, we haven't taken for granted. The thing is, we have taken for granted. We're not allowed to teach them in a civics class anymore or anything else. We're not allowed to teach the difference between a democracy and a democratic republic, okay? So, I mean, but most of the places on the planet that use the term democratic republic were far from either one of them, okay? They were run by a monopoly, an elitist group of people. See, it matters. It matters. We are rapidly becoming controlled by elite. They've always been there, but now they make no pretense about their aims and ambitions, and they have the forces and power to force it upon us. It's not going to be any better for us. It's going to be tremendously better for them, the ones who are already benefiting already. Talk about the privileged class. They always use the term, all white people are privileged, which is a lot of crap, because I know a lot of people who are homeless and who are white. Okay, and it wasn't because they just were derelict and they did the drugs. That's a good portion of the population, yeah. But it's also those for the minorities who are also homeless. Okay, and there's also a lot of mentally ill people who are in the homeless, and we don't address that. We don't have centers and stuff like that to address mental health in this country. So I mean, I guess I'm all over the place. But when you're turning 60, I guess you're allowed to have a little bit of a beef session or a bitch session, if you will, and I just don't see. I'm thankful that I don't have any children or grandchildren. I bet you the left out there are watching me and saying, "Yeah, we're glad too, you bigot." And guess what? Most of you don't like kids anyway, so I think it's funny that you feign an interest in children when it's convenient. But you're pro-abortion, which is basically big signal right there. You really don't care about the offspring for the future generation. And and I'm not like a rabid anti-abortionist, but your narrative that's not life until you decide it's life. I mean, I guess the left only means there's only life that can only be applied to that term can be only applied to those who have a card to vote. Okay, that's why I look at it. The right wing, I call them repubes. Okay, the repubes. I was an urban dweller all my life, and most of the Republicans I ran into were suburbanites. There might have been some old people who, before the white flight and stuff like that, the cities were Republican leaning. But the Republicans tend to look down on anybody who is a urban dweller as a piece of trash. I don't care if you're white, black, or green. They have a tendency to think that way about you. So that's the way they came across. So I don't really care for the repubes either. I think the American population is truly not represented by anybody. I really do. I really don't think any of us are represented by anybody. We're supposed to be just keep on. They can find another thing to tax us for. They add taxes to it. We oblige you to go along because we want to be considered good Americans. We want to be considered good citizens, contributing members. The people who always push that narrative, the people who are always jamming that down our throats are people who are the parasitic class, the politicians. The politicians are the parasites. They provide nothing. They create nothing. They find a way to tax those who are productive. And they want to turn people against each other. They don't care about you. I care about you. They don't care about anybody. They're ridiculous, and I don't like them. And I think they should. I think people should wake up and see that who's actually benefiting from whatever the country goes, which way the country goes. No matter which way it goes, they benefit. And I think that I think this country is seriously screwed. I don't think we have a real chance of pulling it off. I don't care who gets elected. I don't think any of them, you got so many people that are in place. They're going to resist it. They're going to fight it. They're going to bury them. You're just going to come up with charge like, hey, they did all kinds of charges on Trump later on. They found they're totally baseless, but didn't matter. Destroyed and still people are buying to the narrative that he was, because he was accused of something. Just because he was accused of something means he was guilty of something. No guilt, no innocence before proven guilty in this country right now. Never. That's what they actually said during the time this whole thing going on. And one wag said that, basically. That was Nancy Pelosi. He said, now he's got to prove his innocence. That's not how the system works. You got to prove he's guilty. And she's a lawyer, okay? Drunken souse, but she's a lawyer. I mean, she looks like something that was resurrected several times and brought back to life, and stuck back in the chair because the people who voted her in seem to get something out of it. Which begs the question if any of those people are good citizens too, if they keep on putting a person like that in power again. But anyway, I guess I'm all over the place, and basically I probably should have just shut up and stayed offline for a while. But I hope that my perspective changes for the better in the ensuing months. But I just don't see that happening with those people who are Democrats or Republicans. I see them in position of authority. And they're too willing to go along with each other, and it benefits them only. I mean, they're going to find a way of taxing us more. I guess I saw something about Biden wants to tax people's retirement income, retirement funds and stuff up to 40%. So which guarantees they're going to have a federally created program down the road, which also has got to be funded. How? I don't know. But through more taxes. Who are going to tax? Who are going to tax for all this? Who's going to be... Everybody wants somebody else to pay the taxes. The middle class wants the rich to pay the middle class, pay the taxes. Why don't we address what's the real issue? Why are we paying for everything that we're paying for? Is everything that damn crucial? I mean, we're giving billions and billions and billions of dollars away to Ukraine currently, and that's not going to end well. I mean, and then the right wing will say, well, we can't give people health care because, that's welfare. But it's okay if we fund an endless cycle of wars all over the planet. Each missile or something's like $80,000 to $100,000 to launch off at the enemy. It's okay. We can't give people their medicines. I really believe if we cut the spending on the military, we do it to protect Europe, for example, and brought that back on our shores, we could have everything for our citizens without even raising taxes. Matter of fact, I really think there would be a possibility of a tax cut. I guess that would sound socialist, the pure repoobs, But I mean, no, we tax people. Okay, we're going to tax. We got you government people love to tax people, but you want to spend it where it benefits your friends, your colleagues, in the military industrial complex. And I have them all over the place again. But I mean, I don't think the right is right. I think the right is wrong. I think the left is wrong. I think I'm not calling them repubes doesn't sound like a very positive thing, does it? I don't see any of these, either one of the parties looking off of the American population. I really don't. They still go along, both of them go along with these wars we're in. I mean, and Biden did a disastrous handling of the Afghan pullout. I mean, leaving millions and millions of dollars of weaponry to the hands of the enemy. Wow. That took a lot of thinking, didn't it? No, he's not capable of that. And we've seen that time and time again. If that was a Republican showing that forms of signs of dementia, the Democrats rightfully would say, let's get this guy removed. It's one of them. No, you're just being mean. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. This guy is a drooling idiot. And it's not, and it's he was never the brightest penny in the pile, but he's lost what he did have. But no, we can't say that because that's mean. You don't understand his family. No, I don't. I got into this mini debate because I posted something on one of my friends saying, I said, if somebody said this about the cocaine found in the White House, and I said, this guy was saying, well, it's just a small matter, and it's just a couple of news bites and stuff. And I said, oh, BS. If this happened under a Trump administration, they'd be screaming bloody murder. That Trump should be arrested. And he comes back to me, accuses me of being angry, which I don't see where anything I said shows anger. But another thing is he also says, like, you really think it was hunters? Well, I never said a damn thing about it being hunters. Okay, never said a damn thing about it being hunters. So, I mean, he just makes the two assumptions. And then I bring that up to him. He comes back, well, he didn't make accusations. But yeah, he was also trying to tell me how to live my life. You should not be so angry with other people. You should concentrate on yourself. All I said was if this was going on during the Trump administration, if the cocaine was found in the White House at that time, they'd be saying that he was using her and he should be going through rehab. He should be arrested for drug charges. Silence on the left. They're trying to, and it's probably already out of the news cycle now. I probably brought up something some people are going to say, I didn't hear about that. Well, you can go back and type in the search engine. You might be able to find a telltale sign of it. But anyway, no, I don't think I do think there's a two or three-tiered justice system in this country. And it's like, well, difference for the Republicans, difference for the Democrats, and difference for the rest of us. So I think there's a three-tiered, justice system. And that's got to be addressed. And it won't. It won't be. See, we're fearful of we might offend people in law enforcement if we actually make desire a change. Because they're the big, strong people out there protecting the rest of us, which is very mockable when you see the videos of all the times what the cops do to people. There's a lot out there I don't like at 60, but I also didn't like it when I was 50. But it's gotten worse as I headed towards 60. And now that I'm 60, I hope I can see it go back. I don't know if there was ever an idyllic period American existence. I really don't. I think that's where I think I do agree with some of those people on the left, or the academics on the left, that there was never a total golden era for the American people. There are times better for certain people, but overall there's always a shifting back and forth. And I understand that. Some people bring attention to some kind of issue and they address it. But now we go so far as we let people who are on the marginalized group to control the narrative for everybody else. And that's not a good... There's got to be some give and take. There's got to be admission of a wrongdoing. But to allow those who are perceived like they are wrong never seems to work out well. I mean, case in point, the French Revolution. They were wrong. They were treated terribly by the monarchy, by the king. But when they got power, they certainly didn't act any better. They're far more aggressive and they're violent and far more violent. And that's what I fear for this country. The people who are considered marginalized, that consider themselves marginalized, can be far more violent and far more take no prisoners mentality, no quarter given and everything. I don't expect it to be a even handoff or evening off. I think it's going to go from one side back and forth, and it's going to be very violent. But anyway, I'm taking enough time here, guys, and also I just wanted to get out there and say I haven't forgot about doing these shows. I'm going to be doing them on a regular basis, hopefully again. But I took a little bit of time off to reflect on turning 60. And if you're 60 now, why don't you give me some feedback on how if you're further, have 60 more in the rearview mirror, let me know how you handled it. Okay, I'm not handling it too well.